Imagine a land so ancient, so powerful, that it once ruled half the known world. This is not legend. This is Iran. For over 3,000 years, this one civilization built empires, survived total destruction, and rose again stronger every single time. How? What invisible force kept this people alive through Alexander the Great, Mongol hordes, Arab conquest, and modern revolution? The answer will astonish you. This is the complete, untold story of Iran, from Earth's first superpower to the most complex, fascinating nation alive on Earth today. Why did Cyrus the Great free every slave he conquered, while every other ruler in history was busy creating more? What drove him? How did Persian engineers build underground water channels through solid rock that still deliver fresh water to villages after 3,000 years? Why did the greatest empire on Earth collapse in a single decade? And who truly deserves the blame for Persia's catastrophic fall? And how does one single revolution in 1979 still control the destiny of 90 million people and shake the entire modern world today? If you love uncovering history's greatest secrets, subscribe now and hit the bell. New historical discoveries drop every single week. Never miss anything. Chapter 1. The Achaemenid Empire. The year is 550 BC. A man named Cyrus rises from a small Persian tribe. History will never be the same. Cyrus the Great is unlike every conqueror before him. He defeats enemies, then protects their people, respects their gods, and earns their genuine loyalty forever. His first great conquest is Media, the kingdom that once ruled Persia itself. Cyrus reverses that humiliation in a single brilliant military campaign. Next falls Lydia in modern Turkey. King Croesus, the richest man alive, surrenders. Persian territory doubles overnight. The empire is just getting started now. Then mighty Babylon, the greatest city on earth, falls to Cyrus without a single battle. He walks in as liberator. Crowds cheer a conqueror. Cyrus frees Jewish captives held in Babylon for decades. He lets them return home and rebuild their temple. History records him as a true Messiah. The Persian Empire now stretches from Greece to India. Over 50 million people, half the world's entire population, under one king's authority. To manage this massive empire, Persia invents something revolutionary: satraps, regional governors, royal roads stretching 2,700 kilometers, and a working postal system connecting everything. Then comes Persepolis, built by Darius the Great, a ceremonial capital of unimaginable scale. Columns 20 meters tall, black polished stone, carvings of every subject nation arriving. Every year, delegations from 28 nations climbed Persepolis's grand staircase bearing gifts. Persians, Medes, Babylonians, Egyptians, Indians, all unified under one Persian king's magnificent rule. But in 330 BC, a 25-year-old Macedonian named Alexander arrives with fire and vengeance. Persepolis burns for 7 days. The first superpower is finished forever. Chapter 2. The Hellenistic Period. Alexander controls Persia. Greek soldiers flood into ancient Persian cities. A completely foreign culture takes the throne of Cyrus the Great. Alexander tries to merge the two worlds. He wears Persian robes. He marries a Persian princess. He asks his generals to follow Persian royal customs too. His generals hate it. To them, Persia is a conquered land, not an equal partner. This tension will eventually tear Alexander's entire empire completely apart. Alexander dies in 323 BC in Babylon. His empire is immediately divided among his generals. The Seleucid general takes control of the Persian territories for himself. The Seleucid Empire rules Iran for nearly a century. Greek becomes the official language. Greek cities are built across Persian land. New temples replace ancient fire altars. But Persian culture refuses to die underneath. Nobles quietly keep Persian language alive. Zoroastrian priests continue their sacred rituals hidden from Greek rulers and their administrators. Greek theater appears beside Persian fire temples. Coins show Greek gods with Persian text. Two civilizations awkwardly and sometimes violently occupy the same ancient sacred space. Persian identity waits beneath Greek control. Patient, quiet, burning like a covered fire. The moment Greek power weakens, Persia will rise again. And it does. Chapter 3. The Parthian Empire. From eastern steppes, the Parthians emerge, fierce horse warriors and expert archers. They push the Seleucids out and reclaim Persian lands completely. The Parthian king Arsaces establishes a new Persian dynasty in 247 BC. Persian language returns to court. Persian traditions are honored again. The people breathe freely once more. Parthia rules differently from the Achaemenids. A loose feudal system. Local lords govern their own regions, pledging military loyalty and taxes to the Parthian king above. To the west, Rome is growing terrifyingly powerful. Massive Roman legions march east under generals like Crassus and Antony, hungry for Persian gold and Eastern glory. At the Battle of Carrhae in 53 BC, Parthian cavalry destroys a Roman army of 40,000 soldiers. Crassus himself is killed. Rome suffers its worst eastern defeat ever. The Parthians perfect a devastating military tactic, the Parthian shot. Horsemen gallop away from enemies while twisting backward to fire arrows with deadly perfect accuracy. Rome and Parthia fight for over 300 years. Wars, truces, invasions, retreats. Neither side ever truly wins. Two superpowers locked in an exhausting eternal stalemate. Meanwhile, the Silk Road flows directly through Parthian territory. Chinese silk, Indian spices, Arabian gold, Roman glass, all passing through Iranian trading cities. Extraordinary wealth accumulates, but internal weakness grows inside the Parthian court. Noble families fight each other for influence. A new Persian force from the south watches and plans its move carefully. Chapter 4. The Sasanian Empire. In 224 AD, Ardashir defeats the last Parthian king in battle. A new Persian dynasty rises, stronger, more centralized, and more glorious than before. The Sasanians declare themselves heirs to the Achaemenid tradition. They want to restore the glory of Cyrus and Darius. Persian pride burns at its absolute hottest. Zoroastrianism becomes the official state religion. Sacred fire temples blaze across the empire from Mesopotamia to Central Asia. The eternal flame symbolizes divine truth and Persian royal power. The capital Ctesiphon on the Tigris River becomes one of the largest cities on earth. Its massive throne hall arch, the Tak Khazra, still amazes engineers today. Sasanian Persian art reaches its peak. Carved rock reliefs show kings receiving divine blessing from Ahura Mazda. Stone becomes propaganda carved into mountains permanently. The first hospitals in human history appear in Persian cities under the Sasanians. The Academy of Gondishapur treats patients, trains doctors, and translates Greek, Indian, and Chinese medical knowledge. Persia and Rome, then Byzantium, fight in the longest military conflict in ancient history. Century after century of war. Cities burned, borders shift. Millions die across generations. Under Khosrau I, Persia reaches its absolute peak. His court is the most sophisticated on earth. Philosophers, mathematicians, and chess masters all gather in his magnificent royal palace. Chess itself, invented in India, enters Persia under Khosrau. Persian poets say, "The king who does not play chess cannot understand the art of war." Then Khosrau II nearly destroys the Byzantine Empire entirely. Persian armies capture Jerusalem, Egypt, and reach the gates of Constantinople itself, the greatest Persian military triumph since Achaemenid times. But Byzantine Emperor Heraclius counterattacks brilliantly. Persian armies are pushed back. Decades of war have drained both empires completely. The treasury is empty. The soldiers are exhausted. In 651 AD, Arab-Muslim armies sweep north out of the Arabian Peninsula. The exhausted Sasanian Empire, weakened by centuries of Roman war, collapses in just years. An empire of 400 years, gone. Chapter 5. Islamic Conquest and Transformation. Arab warriors carrying a new faith enter Persian cities. The transformation of this ancient civilization begins immediately and completely. Many Persians initially resist. The Battle of Al-Qadisiyah in 636 AD ends Persian military resistance, but cultural resistance, quiet, patient, determined, continues for centuries underground. Arabic becomes the official language of government and religion, but Persian refuses to die. Scholars secretly preserve ancient texts, poetry, and Zoroastrian traditions deep inside private libraries. Then something extraordinary happens. Persians do not just accept Islam, they transform it. Persian converts become Islam's greatest theologians, scientists, administrators, and poets. They reshape the faith completely. Under the Abbasid Caliphate, Baghdad becomes the world's greatest city of learning. And the minds powering it? Mostly Persian. Iran's golden age wears an Arabic mask. Ibn Sina, Avicenna, a Persian physician from Bukhara, writes the Canon of Medicine. European doctors use it as their primary medical textbook for 600 years straight. Al-Khwarizmi, a Persian mathematician, invents algebra. His name literally becomes the word algorithm. Every computer, phone, and digital device today runs on a Persian man's mathematical genius. Ferdowsi writes the Shahnameh, the Book of Kings, 60,000 verses celebrating Persian history and mythology. He single-handedly saves the Persian language from Arabic replacement. Extraordinary literary courage. Rumi, Omar Khayyam, Hafez, Persian poets, whose words still move millions across the world today. Born from this fusion of Persian soul and Islamic spirit, Iran becomes something the world has never seen before, Persian and Islamic. Not one erasing the other. Two great identities fused permanently into one extraordinary layered civilization. Chapter 6. Invasions and Fragmentation. 1,000 years of being conquered and surviving every single time. Iran's darkest centuries are about to begin right now. Turkic dynasties rise across the Eastern Islamic world. The Ghaznavids, then the Seljuks sweep into Iran. Persian culture survives by becoming their court language. Conquerors become Persianized. The Seljuk Sultan Malik Shah rules an empire stretching from Anatolia to Central Asia. His court speaks Persian. His poets write Persian. Persia wins by making others Persian. But then comes 1219 AD. Reports arrive of a force moving west from Mongolia. Cities sending ambassadors receive no response. Then the ambassadors' heads are returned, in baskets. Genghis Khan's Mongol hordes cross into Persia. What happens next is almost beyond human comprehension. The destruction is total, deliberate, and on a scale history had never witnessed. Samarkand, Bukhara, Nishapur, Merv, cities with populations of hundreds of thousands, are simply erased from the earth. Libraries burn, mosques fall, irrigation systems are deliberately destroyed. In Nishapur alone, Mongol forces kill an estimated 1.7 million people in a single massacre. Even cats and dogs are killed. Nothing living is intentionally left standing. Historians estimate Iran loses between 50 and 75% of its entire population to Mongol destruction. The ancient Qanat water systems that fed cities for millennia are smashed permanently. Iran needs 200 years to partially recover. Then Timur, Tamerlane, invades from Central Asia in the 1380s. More devastation, more death. Towers of human skulls built outside destroyed Persian cities. Unimaginable horror. By 1500, Iran is a patchwork of weak competing kingdoms. No single ruler controls the whole land. The Great Persian Empire is a distant memory buried under rubble and ash. And yet, poets still write in the ruins. Mosques rise again from destroyed foundations. The Persian spirit, battered and bleeding, refuses its final death. Something new is coming soon. Chapter 7. The Safavid Empire. In 1501, a teenage warrior named Ismail rides into Tabriz at the head of a Sufi religious movement. He declares himself Shah of Persia. Ismail is only 14 years old, but his charisma is terrifying. His fighters believe he is divinely protected. They charge into battle without armor, certain their Shah makes them invincible. Ismail makes the single most consequential religious decision in Iranian history. He declares Twelver Shia Islam the official state religion, permanently separating Iran from the Sunni Islamic world. This decision creates an identity for Iran that survives to the present day. Shia Islam becomes inseparable from Persian identity, religion, and nation, fused into one unbreakable bond. The Ottoman Empire to the west is Sunni. Safavid Iran is Shia. Two Islamic superpowers face each other across a religious fault line that still runs through the Middle East today. At the Battle of Chaldiran in 1514, Ottoman cannons devastate Safavid cavalry. Ismail is defeated and never fights again, but Persia survives. The empire holds its ground firmly under Shah Abbas the Great, ruling from 1588 to 1629. The Safavid Empire reaches its absolute peak of power, wealth, and breathtaking cultural achievement. Shah Abbas moves the capital to Isfahan. He builds a city so magnificent that Persian travelers coin a famous phrase, "Isfahan is half the world." They are not exaggerating. The Imam Mosque at Isfahan, turquoise and gold tilework that shimmers like a living thing. The Sheikh Lotfola Mosque, intimate, perfect, impossibly beautiful. Some of humanity's finest architecture ever built. The Grand Bazaar of Isfahan stretches for kilometers under vaulted brick ceilings. Merchants from Venice, India, China, and Arabia trade here. Isfahan becomes the world's greatest commercial crossroads. Persian carpet weaving, miniature painting, calligraphy, metalwork, and poetry reach their highest artistic peak during this golden Safavid century. Iranian art that still defines beauty worldwide today, but weak successors, Afghan invasions, and Ottoman pressure slowly destroy the Safavid miracle. By 1736, the dynasty collapses. Isfahan's grand bazaars fall quiet. Another Persian golden age ends in silence. Chapter 8. Afsharid and Zand period. From the chaos of Safavid collapse, one extraordinary figure emerges, Nader Shah, a shepherd's son who becomes the most feared man alive. Nader Shah is a military genius of almost supernatural ability. He defeats Afghans, Ottomans, and Russians in rapid succession, rebuilding Iran's military power from absolute zero with raw determination. In 1739, Nader Shah makes the most audacious military decision of the 18th century. He invades the mighty Mughal Empire of India. The Mughal emperor has 300,000 soldiers waiting. Nader defeats the Mughals completely at the Battle of Karnal. He enters Delhi. The Peacock Throne, encrusted with the Koh-i-Noor diamond, is taken back to Persia as war prize. The wealth Nader brings from India is so enormous that he cancels all taxes across Persia for 3 years. His people celebrate. He has conquered the unconquerable. Iran roars again, but success twists Nader Shah into paranoia and cruelty. He blinds his own son on suspicion of treason. His commanders fear him more than any enemy on the battlefield. In 1747, his own officers enter his tent at night and assassinate him. The empire he built with 20 years of genius collapses within months. Civil war consumes Iran immediately. The Zand dynasty brings brief stability under Karim Khan, a rare, gentle ruler who calls himself not king, but representative of the people. A fleeting moment of peace before the next storm. Chapter 9. The Qajar dynasty. In 1796, Aga Muhammad Khan, brutal, ruthless, castrated by enemies in childhood, conquers Iran and establishes the Qajar dynasty from Tehran. The Qajar Shahs inherit a proud empire, but govern a weakening state. Two foreign giants have now fixed their hungry eyes permanently on Persian territory and Persian resources. Russia expands south into the Caucasus, lands Iran has controlled for centuries. Two catastrophic wars follow. The 1813 Treaty of Gulistan, then the 1828 Treaty of Turkmenchay. Iran loses everything: Azerbaijan, Armenia, Georgia, ancient Persian territories, are handed to Russia forever. The Iranian public is devastated. Their rulers sign away their birthright with ink and shame. Britain controls Afghanistan and India to the east and south. Russia controls the north. Iran is caught in what becomes known as the Great Game, a foreign chess match played on Persian soil. Qajar Shahs desperately need money. They sell concessions to foreigners, tobacco monopoly to Britain, banking rights to Russia, trade privileges everywhere. Iran's economy bleeds outward into foreign hands. In 1890, the tobacco protest erupts. Iranian merchants, clerics, and ordinary citizens boycott British tobacco across the country after a religious decree from Grand Ayatollah Shirazi. The Shah backs down. People's power works. Oil is discovered in southwestern Iran in 1908. The Anglo-Persian Oil Company begins extracting Iranian oil. Iranians see almost none of the extraordinary profit generated. Poverty grows. Foreign influence grows. The gap between Iran's rich ruling class and its struggling ordinary people grows wider. Every single year that passes in the Qajar era, something is building beneath the surface of Iranian society. A fury, a demand for dignity, for sovereignty, for a country that belongs to its own people. The revolution is coming. Chapter 10. The Constitutional Revolution. In 1905, Iranian merchants are publicly beaten by a government official for refusing to lower sugar prices. The people erupt in fury. Protests spread from bazaars to mosques to universities. Merchants, clerics, intellectuals, and ordinary citizens unite behind one demand: a constitution, a parliament, a government that serves its own people. In 1906, the ailing Mozaffar ad-Din Shah signs Iran's first constitution. The Majlis, Iran's first parliament, opens in Tehran. People celebrate in the streets. History is being made. For the first time, Iran has a constitutional monarchy. Power is theoretically limited. Laws must be passed by elected representatives. The dream of a democratic Iran flickers alive, briefly. But the new Shah, Muhammad Ali, immediately attacks the Majlis with Russian Cossack forces in 1908. The parliament building is bombarded with artillery. Constitutional leaders are executed in the streets. The people fight back. Constitutional forces from Tabriz and Isfahan march on Tehran. The Shah is deposed and exiled. The constitution is restored. Democracy refuses to completely die. But in 1907, Britain and Russia secretly sign the Anglo-Russian Convention, dividing Iran into foreign spheres of influence without asking a single Iranian. The dream of sovereignty is mocked openly. World War I turns Iran into a battlefield for foreign armies, without Iran ever choosing a side. Famine, disease, and occupation kill an estimated 2 million Iranians. The constitutional moment is effectively buried. Chapter 11. Reza Shah era. From the ruins of constitutional failure, a military commander named Reza Khan emerges. Disciplined, determined, ruthless, exactly what a broken Iran believes it needs. In 1921, Reza Khan seizes control of Iran's military in a bloodless coup. In 1925, he deposes the last Qajar Shah and crowns himself Reza Shah Pahlavi. A new dynasty is born. Reza Shah's vision is simple and total: modernize Iran at any cost and by any means necessary. No tradition, no religious authority, no foreign power will stand in his way. Trans-Iranian Railway is built, 1,400 kilometers of track through mountains and deserts. The first modern universities open. A national army is created. Iran begins to look like a modern state. Women are ordered to remove the veil. Western clothing is made mandatory in public spaces. Traditional religious dress is banned. The clerics rage. Reza Shah ignores them completely and continues. Reza Shah demands the world stop calling his country Persia. In 1935, the official international name becomes Iran, meaning land of the Aryans, a new national identity for a new century. He admires Germany's industrial strength and begins close trade relations with Nazi Germany. This seems like a practical economic decision until World War II begins and changes everything. In August 1941, British and Soviet forces simultaneously invade Iran from north and south. They fear German influence over Iranian oil. Reza Shah is forced to abdicate. His son takes the throne. Chapter 12. War and Political Crisis. Foreign soldiers march through Tehran's streets again. The humiliation is familiar to Iranians, their country used as a chessboard by foreign powers once more. Allied supply lines run through Iran to reach the Soviet Union. The Persian corridor. Iran's roads and railways carry weapons for a war Iran never chose to enter or fight. The young Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi sits on the throne, weak, uncertain, surrounded by stronger political forces. Iran's parliament, the Majlis, becomes genuinely powerful for the first time in decades. From this parliament rises Mohammad Mossadegh, elderly, emotional, brilliant. He weeps publicly for Iran's suffering. His people love him completely for his visible, unashamed, patriotic passion. Mossadegh's central demand is simple and explosive: nationalize Iran's oil. The Anglo-Iranian Oil Company takes 85% of profits, while Iranian workers live in poverty beside the wells they operate. In 1951, the Majlis votes unanimously to nationalize Iranian oil. Mossadegh becomes prime minister. Across Iran, people celebrate in streets. Iran's oil belongs to Iran. Finally, after decades of theft, Britain imposes a complete oil embargo. The CIA and British intelligence, Operation Ajax, secretly fund opposition groups, bribe military officers, and organize street protests against Mossadegh's government. On August 19, 1953, the coup succeeds. Mossadegh is arrested. Democracy is strangled by foreign hands for the second time in Iranian history. The Shah returns from exile, backed by Washington and London. Chapter 13. The Shah's Rule. Mohammad Reza Shah returns to power, but now he knows he owes his throne to America and Britain. That debt will define and ultimately destroy his reign. Savak, the Shah's feared secret police, is created with CIA assistance in 1957. Dissidents are arrested, tortured, and disappeared. Fear becomes the primary tool of political control across Iran. In 1963, the Shah launches the White Revolution, a series of dramatic reforms: land redistribution, women's voting rights, literacy programs, and rapid industrialization reshape Iranian society at dizzying speed. Oil revenues pour into Iran. Tehran transforms into a modern metropolis of highways, skyscrapers, and discotheques. On the surface, Iran looks like a prosperous, modernizing, Western-aligned success story. But underneath this modern surface, deep fractures grow. Clerics hate the secularization. The poor feel left behind. Intellectuals rage against Savak's brutal repression. The foundations crack. A religious scholar named Ruhollah Khomeini begins preaching against the Shah from the holy city of Qom. He is arrested in 1963, then exiled first to Turkey, then Iraq, then France. From exile, Khomeini's revolutionary sermons are recorded onto cassette tapes and smuggled into Iran by the thousands. His voice fills mosques, homes, and bazaars across the country, quietly, unstoppably. By 1977, massive street protests erupt across Iranian cities. The Shah responds with violence. Protesters respond with more protests. The cycle accelerates rapidly beyond any government's ability to control. On January 16, 1979, Mohammad Reza Shah leaves Iran. Officially for medical treatment, he never returns. The 2,500-year tradition of Persian monarchy ends quietly at an airport departure gate, gone. Chapter 14. Islamic Revolution and War. On February 1, 1979, Ayatollah Khomeini's Air France flight lands in Tehran. 5 million people flood the streets to welcome him. History pivots in one moment. Within months, Iran holds a referendum. 98% vote to establish an Islamic Republic. A new constitution creates the office of supreme leader, political and religious authority combined in one person. The revolution consumes its own children. Leftists, nationalists, Marxists, and liberals who fought alongside Islamists are systematically arrested, executed, or exiled. The Islamic Republic tolerates no rivals whatsoever. In November 1979, Iranian students storm the American embassy in Tehran and take 52 Americans hostage. They are held for 444 days. The world watches in disbelief. U.S.-Iran relations are destroyed forever. On September 22, 1980, Iraqi dictator Saddam Hussein invades Iran with quiet American support, expecting the revolutionary government to collapse quickly. It does not. Instead, Iran mobilizes with terrifying religious fervor. Young Iranian men, some barely teenagers, volunteer to walk through minefields, clearing paths for the army. They carry plastic keys to paradise around their necks. The scale of sacrifice is incomprehensible. The Iran-Iraq War becomes the longest conventional war of the 20th century. 8 years of trench warfare, chemical weapons attacks, missile strikes on cities, and naval battles in the Persian Gulf. Saddam Hussein uses chemical weapons, mustard gas, and nerve agents against Iranian soldiers and Kurdish civilians. The world largely looks away. Iran is isolated, sanctioned, and fighting almost completely alone. In 1988, a U.S. Navy warship shoots down Iran Air Flight 655, a civilian airliner carrying 290 passengers, including 66 children. The U.S. calls it a tragic accident. Iran calls it murder. Khomeini accepts a ceasefire in July 1988, comparing it to drinking poison. The war ends with no territorial changes. 500,000 to 1 million people are dead. Nothing has changed on the map. Khomeini dies in June 1989. 10 million Iranians attend his funeral, one of the largest in human history. His successor, Ali Khamenei, takes the position of supreme leader. A new phase begins. Chapter 15. Modern Iran. Khomeini is gone, but the system he built, the Islamic Republic, remains. Supreme leader Ali Khamenei takes control of everything. A new era of tension begins now. Iran emerges from the Iraq War completely devastated. 500,000 dead, cities in ruins, the economy shattered, oil infrastructure destroyed, an entire generation traumatized by 8 years of brutal warfare. President Rafsanjani begins reconstruction. Roads, factories, and refineries are rebuilt. Iran tries to reopen to the world economy, but American sanctions block every path to recovery and growth. In 1997, Iranians do something unexpected. They elect a reformist president. Mohammad Khatami wins with 70% of the vote. Young Iranians dance in the streets. Hope returns briefly but powerfully. Khatami speaks of dialogue between civilizations. He loosens press restrictions. Independent newspapers open. Young Iranians begin openly discussing freedom, democracy, and a different kind of future for their country. But hardliners fight back. Newspapers are shut down. Reform leaders are arrested. The Guardian Council blocks every reform law. Khatami's hands are tied completely. The dream fades again. Iran's nuclear program becomes the defining crisis of the early 21st century. Iran insists it wants only civilian nuclear energy. The West insists it is building a bomb. Nobody fully trusts anyone. In 2002, an Iranian opposition group reveals secret nuclear facilities at Natanz and Arak. The world is alarmed. The United Nations demands inspections. Iran negotiates, then continues its uranium enrichment quietly anyway. Mahmoud Ahmadinejad becomes president in 2005. His confrontational language shocks the world. He questions the Holocaust. He threatens Israel. He accelerates the nuclear program. Sanctions tighten dramatically around Iran's economy. The Iranian economy begins to crack under sanctions pressure. The rial currency collapses. Inflation soars. Ordinary Iranians cannot afford imported medicine, spare parts, or basic goods. The people suffer most of all. In June 2009, Iranians vote in a presidential election. When official results show Ahmadinejad winning in suspicious landslide numbers, millions pour into the streets. Green ribbons. Silent marches. Where is my vote? Security forces and Basij militia attack the protesters. Neda Aga Sultan, a young woman, is shot on a Tehran street. Her death is filmed on a mobile phone and seen by the entire world. The Green Movement is brutally crushed. Hundreds arrested. Leaders placed under house arrest for years. Iran's reformist hopes are suppressed, but the desire for change does not disappear. It goes underground. In 2015, a historic nuclear deal is signed. The JCPOA. Iran limits its nuclear program in exchange for sanctions relief. For a brief moment, Iran and the world step back from the edge of war. Iranian streets celebrate. Ordinary Iranians hope for economic relief, foreign investment, and a normal life. The rial recovers slightly. International companies cautiously begin exploring business opportunities inside Iran's enormous market. But in 2018, US President Trump withdraws from the nuclear deal unilaterally. Maximum pressure sanctions return. Harder than ever before, the Iranian economy enters freefall. All hope of normalization collapses completely again. On January 3, 2020, a US drone strike at Baghdad airport kills General Qasem Soleimani, Iran's most powerful military commander and the architect of its entire regional proxy network across the Middle East. Iran responds with missile strikes on US bases in Iraq. Millions attend Soleimani's funeral procession across Iranian cities. The region holds its breath, terrified of full-scale war erupting. Days after Soleimani's killing, the Iranian military accidentally shoots down Ukraine International Airlines Flight 752, killing all 176 people aboard, mostly Iranian Canadians. The government lies, then admits it. Public fury erupts. In November 2019, fuel price protests erupt across Iran. Security forces fire live ammunition into crowds. Amnesty International estimates over 300 people are killed in just days. Internet is shut down completely across the country. September 2022. Mahsa Amini, a 22-year-old Kurdish Iranian woman, is arrested by the morality police in Tehran for allegedly wearing her hijab improperly. 3 days later, she is dead in police custody. The protests that follow are unlike anything Iran has seen since 1979. Women burn their headscarves in the street. Young men join them. Woman, life, freedom becomes a global revolutionary anthem. The protests spread to over 160 cities across Iran within weeks. High school girls remove their headscarves in class. Universities erupt. Even some clerics express quiet sympathy. The Islamic Republic faces its deepest legitimacy crisis yet. Security forces respond with mass arrests, live fire, and internet blackouts. Over 500 protesters are killed. Young people, some teenagers, are executed after rushed trials. The world watches in horror. Despite the brutal crackdown, something has permanently changed inside Iranian society. A generation has openly rejected compulsory hijab in the streets. The Islamic Republic's social contract is broken. Iran's economy in 2023 and 2024 remains crippled by sanctions. Inflation runs above 40%. Youth unemployment is catastrophic. A brain drain of educated Iranians leaving for Europe, Canada, and America accelerates every year. Meanwhile, Iran expands its regional influence through proxy forces: Hezbollah in Lebanon, Houthi forces in Yemen, militias in Iraq and Syria. Iran fights its enemies far from its own borders. A strategy of calculated indirect power. In April 2024, Iran launches its first ever direct military strike against Israel. Over 300 drones and missiles fired. The Middle East stands at the edge of open regional war. The world holds its breath again. Israel retaliates. Iran retaliates again. Then both sides step back. But the message is clear. The decades-long shadow war between Iran and Israel has broken into the open. The Middle East has permanently changed. In 2024, reformist Masoud Pezeshkian is elected president, surprising many observers. He promises economic relief and diplomatic engagement, but real power in Iran still rests with Supreme Leader Khamenei, now in his mid-80s. Today, in 2026, Iran stands at a historic crossroads. Nuclear negotiations stalled, regional wars burning, a young population demanding dignity and freedom, an aging leadership holding tightly to a 1979 revolution most young Iranians never chose. This is a civilization that survived Cyrus, Alexander, Arabs, Mongols, Timur, colonialism, and revolution. It has always found a way forward. The question is, what shape will Iran's next chapter take? Nobody knows yet. 3,000 years of empire, invasion, poetry, science, war, and survival. Iran is not just a country. It is one of humanity's oldest and most extraordinary experiments in civilization. And it is not finished yet. So tell us in the comments below, do you think Iran will open to the world in the next decade? Or will the tensions deepen further? We want to hear your thoughts on this extraordinary nation. If this documentary opened your eyes to a history that most of the world ignores, please share it with someone who needs to see it. Like this video and subscribe for more hidden history uncovered every week. From the fires of Persepolis to the streets of Tehran, Iran's story is far from over. This has been the complete history of Iran. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next chapter of history.